Here's 100 things that Gen X did that would probably get us arrested today. Chapter 1, Transportation Crimes. We didn't need Six Flags or Astroworld. We had the back of a pickup truck going 70 miles an hour down a bumpy road. Tailgate seats, no seat belts, only gravity. Road trips, lying on the rear seat ledge by the back window like a house cat. Seat belts, well, most people just cut them out so they wouldn't be in the way. But if you still had them, they was purely for decoration. Skitching, that was putting on a pair of roller skates and holding on to the bumper of a car or a truck while it went down the road. That was pretty much Darwin's halftime show. 12 or maybe even a dozen kids piled into a station wagon. That was pretty much Gen X's clown car. If one of your buddies had a El Camino, all you needed was some lawn chairs in the back. That there was some luxury travel. Pickup trucks with the camper shells, well, that was just a rolling bouncy house with a little side of carbon monoxide. Standing between the two front seats in the car or truck while Daddy went down the road smoking his cigarettes. We didn't have airbags. You was the airbag. Going to the drive-thru, cramming 7 or 8 bodies into the trunk to save money. That there was the true friendship test. Hitchhiking home after baseball or football practice because your daddy forgot to pick you up. That was Uber, but a little creepier. Mini bikes or go-karts on public roads. Police didn't care. They would either wave or give us a thumbs up because they knew we was having adventures. Chapter 2, Backyard Warfare. BB gun battles, they were the best. The winner kept both eyes. The loser usually got to wear a pretty cool eye patch the rest of his life. Good times. Roman candle duels across the cul-de-sac. Yeah, those were pretty fun. They were the source of most of the ER visits for 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Bottle rocket fights, they were epic, and it taught you some good reflexes. If you didn't have good reflexes, that's probably another trip to the ER. You learned quick. Dirt clod wars at construction sites. Half mud, half tetanus. Yeah, they had some steel in there that would get you sometimes. Cherry bombs in the mailboxes. If you was the mailman back then, that was just part of it. You had to be careful and know whose house you was delivering mail to. You had an issue with somebody, mostly over a girl, you had a pellet gun duel out in the woods. That's why Jeffrey still walks with a limp today. Slingshot battles with whatever wasn't nailed down. Rocks, of course, crawfish mounds, nails, screws, bricks, whatever would fit in the little thingy, it got thrown at you. Homemade potato cannons. We was engineers and gunsmiths with zero supervision. It's a wonder more of us didn't get destroyed with them potato blasters. Soda can grenades stuffed with firecrackers. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about that. It was a good one. Lawn darts. That was probably the most dangerous thing that we played with. Yeah, I'm glad that they outlawed that in the continental US because I'm pretty sure that something bad would have eventually happened again. Throwing knives at tree trunks while we was barefoot. I'm pretty sure most of my buddies are missing at least one toe. Maybe because of me, maybe not because of me. You'll have to ask them. Pouring gasoline on anthills. It's where science meets arson, and we were good at it. PVC blowguns, because nothing screams Gen X childhood like lung-powered darts going at about 400 feet per second through the air, hitting something that they would go in and stick. Chapter 3, Food and Drink Madness. Water hose refreshments. Warm, metallic, delicious. Tasted like pennies. It's good stuff. Raw cookie dough. It was like playing salmonella roulette. I'm still not sure that there was anybody ever that got salmonella from raw cookie dough. I think that might have been a conspiracy. Pop Rocks and Coke. That was our version of vaping. And when that stuff got in your belly, you better hold on. It's about to be something special. Chugging whole milk directly from the jug. And you got bonus points for keeping it down if it was sour. And most of the time, it was sour. 1 Coke, 5 kids, 6 straws. It was healthcare approved and perfectly safe. It made our immune systems pretty much ironclad. Sugar sandwiches, because butter was for the rich folks. We couldn't afford butter, so we had sugar on our bread, and we were happy for it. A glass of Kool-Aid with 2 whole cups of sugar in it. It was the diabetic starter pack that we all used, but we burned off most of that with our outdoor activities. Stealing warm Schlitz from Daddy's cooler. It tasted like regret. It tasted like regret. Flat Gatorade that was rolling around the floorboards of the truck for no telling how long. Well, we was thirsty, so we still drank it, and we liked it. Those little candy cigarettes with the red tip, yeah, that was the gateway to nothing but cavities and sugar addiction. Pixie sticks straight into the bloodstream because we required lots of sugar energy. The Gen X kids did because we were pretty active in doing stuff and we could handle all of that excess sugar. Our parents drank black coffee in the mornings and in the evenings, and when we said we was thirsty, they would give us a cup of it, and then they wonder why we wouldn't go to sleep at night. Well, that's why. Chapter 4, Schoolyard Danger. Dodgeball. It should have been called concussion ball, especially when them balls was aired up real tight. You rear it back and you chunk it as hard as you can. You can make a young man see stars. Red Rover, an orthopedic surgeon's business plan. Red Rover, let Chris come over. Pencil eraser fights. Every kid in the 80s had lead poisoning. Every one of us. And pencil fights. They were some epic battles. 1 inhaler shared by the whole class, and if the class next to you forgot theirs, well, you had to share with them too. It was Gen X hygiene at its finest, and another reason why we have pretty good immune systems. Locker room wrestling, King Kong Bundy versus a junkyard dog versus Jake the Snake, with exactly 0 adult supervision. Smoking in the bathroom at 13 years old. Yeah, we did that. And not them candy ones either. The real ones. Yeah, we did that. Riding bikes to school. No locks. No helmets. No worries. It was all good. Most of the time we made it to school. Some of the time we didn't. And we did some stuff that I'm not going to tell y'all because I don't want it to be on record. Locking kids in lockers is just a prank, bro. It wasn't serious. It wasn't bullying. It had nothing to do about bullying. It was just funny to lock another kid in the locker. We ain't left you in there long. Don't act like it all messed you up for life. Climbing ropes all the way up to the rafters in PE. A safety mat? Yeah, we didn't have no safety mat, but that's why we didn't fall, because we knew there wasn't a safety mat. Them kids today got big old safety mats under them. Of course they fall. They ain't scared to fall. Not us. Them projector bulbs that was hot enough to fry bacon, yeah. Your buddy would dare you to touch it, and always lick your finger first before you touch it. That way it sizzles a little bit. It's a little more exciting if it sizzles. Shop class in 8th grade, we was using table saws, miter saws, welding machines, cutting torches, all that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say none of us got hurt, but we used them. Chemistry sets with real acid. It was an adventure, and science back then was exciting. It was exciting science. The principal's paddle, he called it the Board of Education. It had some holes drilled in it that made it whistle when he swung it. He used to hold it like a baseball bat, and he would take a couple of steps before he would swing. Yeah, you didn't want to get sent to the principal's office back then. It hurt. And then you'd get it again when you got home from your daddy. Chapter 5, Parenting Styles. Streetlights was the curfew clock. Our parents didn't know what time it was. Didn't matter what time it was. What mattered was you'd have your tail in that door in the house by the time them streetlights came on. If not, they's probably going to lock the door and you weren't going to be able to get in. 6-year-olds babysitting toddlers. It happened. Day or two, no big deal. They was pretty good at it too. They were more mature at 6 years old back then than most of the 20-year-olds that are around today. Using duct tape as first aid. It sealed both wounds and secrets very effectively. I know this firsthand. Our parents used to drive us around after a few beers. We called it a normal Tuesday. Locked up in them hot cars at the Kmart's in August in Louisiana. That was survival of the fittest there, buddy. Sent to the corner store to buy your mama cigarettes and your daddy beers. They would hand you a little note that said, "It's okay if Chris buys me this stuff," and they'd give you some money, and they never would even question it. They would just give it to you. That came in handy a little later in life for me. We're not going to talk about that. Parents didn't know where we was. We'd get on our bikes and ride. Get on them train tracks and just keep going. We might be gone a day or two. Hell, they wouldn't even notice we was gone unless we missed school. Had to be back for school Monday morning. 4th of July firecrackers run by 12-year-olds with matches and lighters. Sometimes we'd burn stuff down, but most of the time we didn't. The fire department had to be on their toes most of the time. Swimming alone at the gravel pit. The lifeguards were the dragonflies, and they did a pretty good job, let me tell you. Parents smoking in the car with the windows up. It was a nicotine fog machine, and I don't know about that secondhand smoke being dangerous, but I'm pretty sure that secondhand smoke was pretty dangerous. Sunscreen, our parents wasn't buying none of that expensive sunscreen. We used baby oil and iodine. That's right, we was smooth and we had a natural bronze iodine colored tan at all times. They used to let us walk 2 or 3 miles down the road to get some candy from the store. It didn't matter how far it was really. Mostly it was just for us to get out of their hair for a few hours. Dangerous? Maybe. But we did it anyway. Chapter 6, Toys that should not have existed. Lawn darts, basically javelins for children. Probably shouldn't have had those. Creepy crawlers hot plate. Burns build character. At least that's what the people who invented that must have thought. I had a lot of character, evidently. Slip and slides on concrete. The dental bills were included. Missing a lot of teeth. Yep, I'm missing a lot of teeth. That easy bake oven with the bulb in it that was hotter than Hades. Yeah, that thing, you could cook pies in that easy bake oven. You could cook anything that you wanted in there. Cookies, pies, cakes. It was a real oven. Wood burning kits for 8 years old. Yep, I had one. Anything that had a wood surface anywhere in the house, in the shop, trees, they all got my initials wood burned on them. Got some spankings for that. Model rockets launched from the driveway, fueled by gasoline for 8-year-olds. Real rockets. They went high with gasoline. You heard me right. Red Ryder BB guns at the age of 4. Pellet rifles at the age of 6. Merry Christmas, Timmy. Go shoot something. Toy chemistry kits that included uranium for science experience. Uranium. Y'all remember them clackers? Them 2 ball bearings hanging from the strings that went clack, clack, clack? I'm pretty sure they were responsible for more smashed fingers than any other toy on planet Milky Way. 10 years old, in my stocking, knives, switchblades, hatchets, axes, anything with a blade kept me busy. Santa Claus was wild. Stretch Armstrong leaking that weird goo. Remember that? It didn't matter. We still ate it. Trampolines with no nets and no pads, just springs sticking up. Maximum lawsuits, I'm sure, because we did a lot of WWE wrestling on there. Chapter 7, Neighborhood Shenanigans. Crawling in storm drains. That was the Pennywise starter kit. We wasn't scared. Especially if one of our buddies double dog dared us. Walking railroad trestles like tightrope artists. We were good at it. And we didn't fall because we couldn't fall or we would fall in the river. Exploring abandoned houses. It came with free tetanus shots because we always needed a tetanus shot because one of us was always stepping on a rusty nail. Riding our bikes across busy roads. It was like Frogger Gen X style, and we were pretty good at that too. Or maybe the cars were just a little bit better at avoiding us. Slingshotting bottle caps at passing cars. It was a genius idea, really. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud at all, but whoever invented it was a genius. On your bicycle, playing street chicken with cars. You just hope it wasn't your buddy's big brother, Toby, because he'd run you over. Ding dong ditch until 2 a.m. You knock on the door and then leave, run. Well, you'd hide around the corner and watch the old man come out and wonder who was knocking on his door at 2 a.m. It was funny. I don't know if I would do that today because y'all got them fancy Ring cameras, but back then it was pretty funny. Climbing TV towers, way up. You really didn't know how high you was until you got up there and looked down. Oh, and you got bonus points if you touched something and got shocked. Good times. Playing war in the cemetery. Was it respectful? No, it was very disrespectful. But those cement tombs made the best blockers. It was really set up for that. Not really, but we thought it was. A lot of time in the cemeteries doing that. Prank calls, those were the best until some idiot invented Star 69, and that ruined a lot of careers and lit a lot of heinies on fire. Jumping off of roofs into the swimming pool if the parents put the swimming pool close enough, which they learned that lesson after a while, but boy, you could make a big old splash. The chiropractors loved it. The insurance companies, loved it. The parents, when they found out, yeah, not so much. Trying to rob the ice cream man, that never turned out real good. The idea was sound because you'd either get his money and then use his money to buy his ice cream from him, or just go ahead and take the ice cream. But those ice cream men were always so tough. I don't know why ice cream men were so mean and tough, but they were. Construction site playgrounds, rusty nails included. We got a lot of rusty nails in our feet, which meant a whole lot of trips to the doctor for tetanus shots. Them tetanus shots hurt. Elevator wrestling. I'm not sure y'all know what that is. Hell, maybe we was the only ones that did it. Broken bones, that was just part of it. I'm curious if y'all know what elevator wrestling is. Shoot me a comment down below. And chapter 8, just general recklessness. Starting bonfires with gasoline. It wasn't too dangerous. It was a little dangerous. Yeah, it was a lot dangerous, but we did it anyway. Don't know why. Tossing aerosol cans into the fire. Boom. Instant entertainment. But when your mama starts looking for her Aquanet, there's going to be some questions asked. Playing with mercury from thermometers. It was silver magic. It was science. And it was cool. I mean, now we know that probably wasn't a good idea, but we didn't know that back then. On a sunny day, burning an ant with a magnifying glass. Now that was science. Putting firecrackers, usually M80s, down the park turlets. Yeah, that was a city budget killer right there. Bikes with no brakes. You just had a hope and a prayer, and your feet. And if you forgot to wear your tennis shoes that day, your dogs was a barking. Riding your roller skates through traffic on a busy road. That was Frogger, but more sparkly. Lighting a Roman candle and holding it in your teeth. You got to remember which way is front and back. Yeah, don't ask. Homemade ramps, plywood, cinder blocks, and a lot of ER visits. But boy, we went high. If we had TikTok back then, we'd be famous. Shoebox pets, snakes, frogs, lizards, baby gators, squirrels, and 0 air holes. I don't know how we forgot them air holes. You'd open that box and they'd go, I'm sorry. Tree houses, 30 foot up in the air. Just a rope hanging down. That's how you got up and that's how you got down. We would fall. I mean, every now and then we would fall and it would hurt. And we might break a leg, but we'd be climbing that rope again the next day, cast and all. Rooftop wrestling. It basically just showed you that gravity was the boss. Gravity won every time. Every time. And somehow we survived Gen X, the generation that made Darwin sweat. If you made it through all 100 of these, well, you're Gen X certified. I don't care what year you was born. And if I missed some, let me know down in the comments. Hey, subscribe to my channel if you like this Gen X stuff. Y'all, thanks for watching.